What's going on, guys? Welcome to a new episode of Creative in Focus, and I can tell you guys this: I am super excited for today's episode. Two reasons why: because this has been a long time since I did a podcast, compared to the last one, and the second one is I wanted this guy to be in the podcast for the longest time, but couldn't get the right timing to make him come to the podcast with all the stuff happening. And you know what? Fuck it. Let's do a virtual podcast today. And without further ado, guys, let me introduce to you guys the guest of today's show. Hi, Luqman.
Hello. Hi there, Vince. Nice to meet you.
All right. So those of you guys are
Thank you for
watching
having me today, man.
this.
Appreciate that.
All right. So those of you guys are watching this from YouTube. There might be a slight delay in the video because our internet connection is a little bit off. So, but don't worry. As long as the audio is good and you have some patience to listen to what Luqman has store for us today. So, Luqman, so those of the person who's not familiar with you, could you give us a short introduction of yourself?
Okay, cool. For those who don't know, my real name is Muhammad Luqman Firdaus, otherwise known as Helloluqman. I am a singer-songwriter, uh, and I do music, but full-time I'm actually a line producer at an audio production house, doing ads and commercial work. So yeah, nice to meet everyone.
Nice. The mic a bit closer to to the mouth because a little bit the volume is a little bit low.
Sorry, can you hear me now, loud and clear?
Yeah, now it's clear. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Cool, man. I didn't know you were in the ads part of the industry.
Now you know. Now you know.
All right. So I'm quite interested though. Like you've been in this in the scene for quite some time. I will tell you how did I actually discovered you. It's gonna be a very weird story, but I think people needs to hear how did I actually discovered you. Just before we get into the topic, right? How did it all started for Luqman? Where did it started from?
Well, it started when, okay, how I started performing was when I was actually in high school. So I actually never knew how to play the guitar properly, or did I know how to perform. But what happened was, I had this crush on a girl, and I asked her, "What do you like in a guy?" And she said to me, "I like guys who can play the guitar and sing." So I told her, "Okay, give me 1 week. I'll come back and I will show you something." So I picked up my guitar, like a little classical guitar. Because I used to go to classes back when I was younger, but this is me in high school, right? I learned Enrique Iglesias's Hero just to impress this girl. And then after a week later, after I learned how to play it, I met up with her. I said, "Yo, this is for you." So I played Enrique Iglesias's Hero just for her. She turned me down. I mean, I was 13. It's cool, but she told me, "You know what? Hey, why don't you consider as doing this as like something serious?" And I thought, that's kind of stupid. But then I thought, you know, maybe I could. So then I started uploading covers on YouTube, on Facebook. I started, finding gigs. I started performing. I was 16, and then slowly I kind of made a name for myself online. And that's just how it is. It's just a slow and steady process, but the grind never stopped. Essentially, ever since I was 13. So yeah, no, I'm here today. Oh, for a side note, I'm 25 now. So yeah, you do the numbers. Yeah, I've
I
been
mean,
listening for 12
I
years.
think
I think you're the definition of behind every man's success there's a woman.
That is, yeah, that is. I mean,
Oh,
I'm not friends with the woman anymore, but like, yeah, I guess you could say that.
oh wow. So because of a girl that you got started in this musician thing.
Yes, I know it's insane, but you wanted me to be honest. I'll be honest with you. That's
Nice, man. I'm really fascinated about that because I think you're the few of my people, the people I know, they say I did this because of a girl, because of a breakup, because of a female party. No hate to the female people out there, but you know.
no, obviously.
All right. So, Luqman, I invited you into this podcast because I want to get a certain perspective from you, as a musician, as a producer, because I'm not familiar with the music industry in Malaysia at the moment. I just want to know, like, what, how badly did the music industry got impacted because of the lockdown?
Well, I would say that the music industry got impacted very, very badly because there was a lot of gigs that were canceled for musicians, for folks that were for folks that actually work full time as a musician. It's hard for them to find money because essentially events need to open up and restaurants and bars need to open up for us musicians to perform at. But then because they didn't open up, it's hard. Sometimes even wedding events as well, and a lot of gigs had to be canceled. So people had to rely on putting things online. But unfortunately, equipment is a bit tough to get by. It's hard to find equipment online. It's hard to, yeah, unless you can't afford it. For those who are not well off, it's hard to buy proper microphone equipment or a proper interface. So it's hard for those who actually to find another alternative. So they have to rely on maybe using their phones to do live streams here and there. But yeah, I think it impacted us pretty badly. But I also think that a lot of folks are surviving by doing their best to putting for themselves out there. Eventually, essentially, like doing their best to just put themselves out there and be the best that they can. Yeah.
Mhm. I see. It's kind of weird, like to see that because if you see like in the creative market, people will go towards more of the graphic design, videographers, photographers, and I can understand why because the market is well known to these people, but they don't understand that singers, artists, producers, they are also part of the creative market, and we need to support them as well.
Hmm.
So I
Yes,
know
that
that
is right.
some of my audience are listening to this. Yeah, some up and coming singers, producers as well, and I just
Oh,
want to know
great.
from you, yeah, I just want to know from you as well is that how you as a musician is overcoming this. Because at the end, earlier you told me that a lot of gigs got cancelled and everything. How,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
from your own point of view, you're overcoming this?
Well, okay. So for me, I wouldn't say okay. To be fair, because music is not a full time thing for me. So for me, I already have a full time job working as a line producer in audio in an audio production house under advertising and commercial work. So it didn't like affect me badly, but it affected like my side income. But if you want to talk about like how I essentially just kept pushing on my music, I actually picked up producing. So what happened was I got into a relationship during the lockdown last year, and my girlfriend, who's an amazing producer, taught me how to produce and influenced me to produce. You know,
Mhm.
she's a very lovely woman to teach me that. So I kind of taught myself how to produce and actually do better covers and post them online. So the only way to do it is just all I do was just post more covers online and make more music, and meet up with like basically also work with friends through the internet because internet is such a strong place. You can send people like a guitar track, and then some other person has like an idea for vocals, and some other drummer can probably add beats to it. So essentially, yeah, that's how I did to keep my music surviving while during the lockdown.
I see. It's so weird because I've met some people they are so not willing to do other stuff rather than music because
Hmm.
they feel like if I'm gonna put my time elsewhere, I rather put it in music because I know this is my thing. But I kind
Hmm.
of feel sad. I kind of understand what they're coming from because me myself I do that as well. Like I run a production company and I always find it hard. Like why don't I just get a full time job and then
Mm.
try to survive this freaking pandemic? And what do you gotta take with this?
Yeah.
Do you think that people who's really die hard of music should stay with it or just find a job, just
I think
go back to the school?
I think I think the right answer is people need to learn how to be more adapting because although yeah you music can be your one and only thing for the rest of your life, but I feel like to a certain extent surviving and adapting is something that you should always keep in mind as well. If there is a will, there is a way. And I know a lot of my musician friends who actually started selling food as a side income thing. They were making food at home. They learned how to cook. Some were also doing teaching online classes to kids and students how to play instruments. Some folks went into learning how to produce for other artists and composing and songwriting. So I think it's all about adapting. You can always do the same thing and keep at it, but as long as you know how to adapt and survive, then you're fine. Because it's also with any other realistically honest, it also applies to any other career path you take. Let's say if you work in banking and suddenly the stock markets crash and then all banks shut down, Are you gonna just rely on the banks to open up again just for you to keep going? No, I mean, I think you have to learn how to adapt and survive. Figure out ways to do make at it, do what's best with what you can do. You know, because if you're gonna be stuck there and waiting for things to happen, nothing's gonna happen. That's just my realistic answer. But of course, I also digress because most of us are given the privilege to be able to do things. Some of us aren't, and that's totally understandable. Some folks really rely on the guitar, six strings, busking, and that's totally understandable. And I feel like I come from a place of privilege, so I get to say that. But I feel like for those who also come within my circle, I think they're able to also try to adapt and find a way, find solutions. And for us, we can also help those who are unable to achieve that, help them and maybe seek out to see what we can do to help them out to find income and such.
I see. It's good. I mean, that's a good take. I mean, all right. So I just want to know, right? I know there's always a positive and a negative side of each different industry, and we have for ourselves, like from the videographer point of view, we have a positive side, we have a negative side. For the music niche, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I heard that it's super hard to break through into the music scene in Malaysia, especially for the people who's really up and coming. Is that true?
Um, okay, there is a yes and no to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll break it down. Okay, so we'll attack mainstream first. Okay, if you want to go to mainstream, you want to break through the mainstream side of music in Malaysia. I feel like you talent wise, sometimes it does not apply 100%. Like, I mean, no hate to any of the artists in Malaysia, but sometimes I feel like there are other musicians I know in the underground scene, indie scene, who are way more talented than them. But if you notice, it's always how they look, how they present themselves, their face, their body. Honestly speaking, it's truth. And no hate, but because it's also how we've been also affected. We've been influenced by American music. Like the scene in America and overseas. We kind of adapted that here. So it's been something that's been going on since the early '90s to the early 2000s. That if you don't look a certain way, it's hard to break through the mainstream scene. I've personally encountered that before because I've tried to break into the mainstream scene and I can't because of how I look. And I don't blame the scene. I don't blame the people. It's just that I blame that we've already been brought up like this, so it's hard to break that little cycle. And in the indie scene, you can break out in the indie scene, but because there are so many like people who are similar to each other. If you want to say a guitarist who sings is probably like 15 different people, or a guy who plays a piano and sings 20 different people. So it's more so to break out. It's hard if you have nothing that you identify. If you don't have an identity to yourself, like you don't know how to like differentiate yourself from the others, because to be different, you need to tell yourself what's so special about yourself that makes you different. Because otherwise, it's gonna be hard for you, you know. And also it's perseverance and not giving up. Because at the age of 16, going into the scene, it was hard for me too. Not gonna disagree. It was hard for me to get gigs. It was hard for people to trust me. But I had to do at least 2 to 3 years of free gigs. Okay, at the age of 16 and 17 and 18, free gigs until people started paying me for gigs, and then
Wow,
I started charging for my gigs. Yeah,
3 years.
and it was
God
hard.
damn.
Yeah, 3 years. So my family, my parents always told me that, oh, this performing thing, what you're doing, it's a waste of time. You don't even earn any money from it. But I told them, like, it sucks, but if you also don't have anything out there or something to prove, why would people pay you the money? Like let's say, example, okay, Vince, for you, your production, you own a production house. Let's say you claim to me and tell me you shoot like Steven Spielberg, but you have no works of art to show me.
Mm.
You know, so how am I to believe that you shoot like Steven Spielberg? So I can't walk around telling everyone, parade everyone, I sound like Ed Sheeran like, when I perform. But if they're like, I've never heard you perform at all, so why would I pay you money if I don't even know who you are? Same thing. So I think it's also persevering and willing to take a step forward into the scene. Because if you're scared, and it's fine to be scared, there are some folks in the scene who are nice enough and willing enough to help, but you need to be brave enough to take the first step to try to put yourself out there. Because even if you don't, you're just gonna stay stagnant. And it goes back again to the first thing. If you don't move and you expect things to happen, nothing's gonna happen.
I mean, I think a clear takeaway from Luqman is that doing free work. I know it's very like controversial to do free work, especially at this moment, but Me myself, I've done free works during MCO, and it has opened doors for me, because first I get to network with a lot of people, and second is that I can use either way the brand name can carry you somewhere. Like, hey, like for example, Luqman, he did a gig with Ed Sheeran for free, something like that. Like, he produced Ed Sheeran song. Don't discard free work, guys. If you're listening to this, free work can lead up to many opportunities. And speaking of opportunities, if you guys don't know Luqman, right, he has produced some musics over his career lah. And one of the notable music that I personally that I enjoyed, which is Good Vibes 2019 2019, right? Yeah, 2019. Because of course the video was edited by Race, a very familiar people in this channel. He's been in this podcast for the longest time. How was that, bro? Like, how did that happen?
Okay. So funny story. So what happened was I did a Good Vibes mega mix for fun because it was I actually didn't even have plans to go to Good Vibes. I'll be honest with you. I had no plans, no intentions. I was like, okay, it's just another festival. I don't really care. But eventually, I was offered free tickets from U Mobile because they wanted to sponsor me as an influencer. Uh, but the second to that, I was like, you know what? I want to hype people up for Good Vibes. And besides me doing music and a singer songwriter, I actually like to make mashups. I like to take song A, song B, put them together, make them into something new. So what I did was I thought to myself, you know what? There's a DJ called DJ Earworm on YouTube. He used to do this thing called the Capital FM Summertime Ball Mashup, where he would make a mega mix of all the artists that are performing for this festival called the Capital FM Summertime Ball in the UK. So I told myself, you know what? We don't have that. You know, no one's ever done something like that. No one's ever done a mashup of like Malaysian artists with American artists and put it out there like that. So I thought, you know, I want to be the first to do that. Like, okay, again, this also goes back to the first thing about being different. Okay, the point just now, yeah, this is what I mean by being different.
Right,
So I
pay
thought,
attention,
okay,
guys. Pay attention.
yeah, yeah, give it a shot, right? So I took my time. After hours at work, I compiled all the songs of the artists that I know. I memorized and I did my best to like try to fit it in together. I match the tempo, match the key. I put it into like a 3 minute nice song, and the lyrics actually matched each other. And I put it on YouTube and Instagram. And then Good Vibes contacted me and said, "Hey, we want to give you 2 free VIP tickets, and would you be down to do the after movie music too?" I was like, "Okay." And then I managed to do another version of the same concept for the Good Vibes after movie.
Oh wow! Wait, that means the first version, was it involved with the artist that's performing in Good Vibes, or was it just few different music?
I mean, it was I didn't ask them for permission because it's all copyrighted. So obviously, I just sampled it and just put it into one song and just put it out there again for free. I No one expected me to do it. I didn't. No one asked me to do it. I just did it
Okay.
because one. And that's the thing. Like goes back to your point. Like doing free things sometimes it can open doors, and that was the door. No one asked me to do it. I just did it, and then I basically got 4 free tickets to go vibes, and I got to do the after movie.
Wow.
So, yeah.
God damn. Dude, that that story is so fucking cool, man. Like,
Thank you,
guys,
thank
this
you.
is what I'm trying to say. Do fucking free work. But then when you're doing free work, do it in the intention of, this is a paid work. Don't just discard it as a free work and chinchara do. Like, if you
Mm.
hear the music that Lokman produced is super, super well. And I was quite surprised that like this kind of music did for is it called after movie, right?
It's the good vibes after movie. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not sure I've seen other, because I'm not very familiar with the after movie niche. I never seen any people like mixing all the artists that is featuring in the festival, and then they mixed it into one music. I never seen it before.
That's why it really caught my
Exactly.
attention. I was like, fuck.
Exactly. That was my plan. See, like that's why you everyone you gotta try and think outside the box and stand out as much as you can. I think a great example of that would be Ed Sheeran. I think he started the loop pedal movement. The minute he started doing that loop pedal thing, I remember everyone going to the Bentley or Sweetie to buy that loop pedal and try to mimic Ed Sheeran's sound. and they harked up the price so that people would buy it. Everyone was trying to buy it. I even bought one myself because
Then,
I like Ed Sheeran so much. I
oh,
wanted to sound like him. Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought Ed Sheeran was like well known for mixing. I'm not sure. I just from my own point of view is mixing rap and R&B together that doesn't sound like R&B or rap.
Yeah, he's famous for that too, but he's also very more well known for his loop pedal as well.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, so
Okay.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean like speaking of like doing things differently, like I just share with you how did I actually came across your Helloluqman platform, and it's super
Okay,
weird. Okay, I'm not
okay,
sure
let's
you
hear
know
it.
this. I remember you did an ads for Soca, right? A project for Soca, right?
Oh yeah, Sokar hired me as an influencer under their team to make ads for them.
Yeah. So I remember at the same year, I think the year or the year after, we did a project with Soka as well. And I was scouting
Okay,
around like what are the ideas we can do for Soka. And then I came across your video. And the thing is, I saw this Malay freaking dude speaking Chinese in the ads. A Malay guy speaking Chinese, a Chindian guy can even speak a proper Chinese word. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing in my life? Okay, let me just search this up. Is he a Chinese guy? Is he a Sarawakian guy? I'm like, okay,
nope.
how okay. Do you know how to speak fluent Chinese?
我的华语可以讲了，但是我的华语不是那么好，因为我以前小学读在华校，所以呢，我可以讲华语。如果你叫我讲华语，除了如果你要跟我讲
Okay, I think that that is so, dude. I think my ancestors watching this be like, you see, wow. Did you actually go to Chinese school, bro?
I did go to a Chinese school. I grew up in a Chinese school when I was in from Tadika up until primary 6.
Well, dude, your parents made the smart move, man.
Uh, I would definitely agree with that. Actually, I think they really made a very smart move because
Yeah.
it's a very it helps a
The
lot.
weird thing, right? I actually started going to Mandarin classes during the start of MCO, like on the 1st of
That's
March. Right?
good.
I actually went, but the
That's
thing
good.
is, I cancelled at the end of March.
Why?
Because okay, two things. MCO, second thing, I need my money, man. Like projects got
Okay,
cancelled suddenly and I
that's fair.
need my
That's
funds
fair.
back.
That's fair.
So I'm like, I can't even try to go back because the school got shut down. And I'm like
That's
slowly
totally fair.
learning Chinese from the internet, lah, like just few words so I can understand a little bit.
Yeah.
And I can tell you guys this that I I kind of lost a lot of jobs because of that particular um skill that I don't have, which is speaking Chinese. Truth be told, Chinese market is super good. You just need to like learn the Chinese. I don't know. You can cover this for me as well, lah.
Okay, I will actually give you a very good answer with that. I was performing. There was this one gig at this property event that they needed a performer for, and I knew the guy. The guy was very honest with me. He said, "Hey, listen, it's between you and this other performer, but I don't know if I want to choose you or him because this guy is a very good Chinese singer." And I said, "Okay, that's totally fine." I told him lah, but I can sing English, Bahasa, and Mandarin song. He said, "Eh, if you doing this, you can." I said,
And then
可以.
your
So
mic is going around with your clothes.
oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I said, can, of course. You asked me, I can sing Mandarin song. And they said, okay, I'll hire you for this one event as a trial run. So he hired me for the event for the trial run because it was a 2-day event. First day I performed and I sang a Chinese song. And I think like the people in the property were so surprised because a Malay boy up there was singing a Chinese song. Ever since then, he's come back to me only for gigs because of that reason. The fact that I can perform 3 songs in 3 different languages.
And
So I always put that as a plus point. And honestly, I don't even sing the ones that are like super like I don't even sing a lot. I just sing like 2 or 3 songs. I sing like a 通华 by Guang Liang and a 月亮代表我的心. And I also do like Forever Love Wang Li Home. And that's it. And you're done. It works.
It's so weird because if you see, like, okay, for example, I'm a Chindian, so I look Malay. So when people see me speaking Tamil, they be like, oh shit, I need to pay attention to this guy. Oh my god, what is this Malay guy speaking Tamil? It's so weird, I find it very weird if, let's say, Malay people, Chinese people, or Indian people speaking not their mother language but speaking other languages. it's like automatic trigger. Like this person is somebody. I need to pay attention to him. Does that happen to you before?
Yeah, I mean, I get very impressed by people who can speak different languages. I think it's such a great thing because it can always benefit you somewhere. It may not benefit. Sometimes you might think it's like unbeneficial, but I find it super beneficial. Like on my daily life, like sometimes I got clients, a lot of Chinese speaking clients, and sometimes I know they can't speak English or Bahasa Sua, and I can speak them Mandarin. Like, oh, they're like, wow, 你可以讲华语 I'm like, oh, 可以。如果你要跟我讲华语也可以 like, so I think it's such a beneficial thing that they eventually they pay attention to me. And again, with the performing thing, I like there are times I perform in English and Bahasa. You see some Chinese folks in the crowd, like whatever, like just another Malay guy singing songs. The minute I go, 好的，早安，你们全部人，我要唱一个华语歌给你们，可以吗？ It's like, 哇，马来人讲华语啊，唱华语的歌 sing Chinese. Wow, suddenly like a whole new vibe, like these different heads turned around. They're like, okay, this guy, gotta listen to him.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's how you hype up the crowd, lah.
That is true. Yes, that is correct.
Nice.
So for the people who's watching this podcast, right? We want this podcast to be entertaining and as well as educational for the people who's watching this, because this channel is solely, the purpose of this channel is to help the creative in Malaysia to overcome whatever bullshit they're going through, because I've gone through that shit as well. Like when I was starting out, there was nobody out there to teach me shit, and when I ask people, usually they just like, you know what, boy, I don't think I'll be teaching you, because I don't want to reveal all my secrets. Like, who the hell are you? Am I supposed to share my secrets with you? And on that day, I actually vowed myself, like, hey, when I got the experience, I know whatever experience it is, if anybody asks me, I will tell them regardless of whatever big secret it is. Yeah, I mean in terms of creative lah, not the other secrets. So I just want to know the secrets of you to get started. For the people who wanted to start as a singer, producer, musician in the Malaysian industry right now, what, in your own words, should they be doing from step 1 to whatever step they can get a hold in the market?
Okay. I don't have like a step-by-step guide plan because honestly, my whole life I've just been winging it. If I'm being honest to you, Vince, like there was never like, okay, Luqman, do this. It was all just wing, wing.
Dude, here's the thing.
But
That's what people think, that we have a plan. Truth be told, we are all winging it at this moment. We have freaking no plan. We're just coming up with ideas along the way. But for the sake of this podcast, let's niche it down to getting started.
Okay, I think I can give a few tips. There's no like a step-by-step plan that will for sure make you work, but tips, okay. And this is based on my own experience. I think everyone else has different experiences, but the first tip I can say is when be open to learning and to failing, because I feel like a lot of folks when they start up in this thing, you are definitely prone to failure in the start, but you have to be open to fail and to get criticism, because as a performer or as someone who works in production, let's say you can't deny, Vince, that at the start of it all, your videos were probably not as good as how it look like now. And I can't deny and also say that my songs and my writing and how I sang before this until now, two different things. But I was open to criticism. I heard how people talk about what I said. I practiced and I was open to learn. Because if you have a closed heart to think that you're the hot shit, or you have a closed heart to think that, oh, I don't want to do anything because I don't want to listen to people what they say, because I think that if I think I'm good enough, then I'm good enough, you're never getting anywhere. Yeah. And I think another tip is also be open to do things for free, which also come back to the point of not taking your hot shit. Because when you're open to doing things for free, right, you need to put yourself out there. And again, we'll write the same thing. If let's say Vince tells people, oh, guys, I shoot like Steven Spielberg, but if I've never seen your things, how am I going to think that, oh, he does shoot like Steven Spielberg? If I walk around town and tell everyone I sing Bruno Mars, but they're like, but bro, I have never heard you before, I don't even know what you sound like, then no one's going to know. You have to be open to try to do things for free at the start of it all, but eventually know your worth. Like as you keep growing, know your worth. Like then you know what you're worth, how much you've improved. Help for your friends and family, the best things ever. And seek out people in the scene. Try people that you trust in the scene who seem nice enough that you can ask. Because some folks, they're not that nice, but if you seek out well enough, some of them might be nice enough to give you tips. and tricks. Another thing also, social media and technology, biggest ally ever. Don't be afraid to overshare. Don't be afraid to keep posting. I'll be honest, when I was first had Instagram and Twitter, my goal when I first had Twitter and Instagram, I said, I want to get this amount of followers. I told myself I want to get this amount of followers. And I didn't have a step by step plan. I just knew that I'm just gonna put shit out there. No matter what, just put shit out there. Because you keeping it within the laptop and then you keeping it within your project file, wherever, no one's gonna know, no one's gonna listen, you're not gonna progress. And then don't expect you're gonna progress if you don't do anything as well. Because I feel like there are some folks in the scene who think, oh, I'm just gonna sit around and wait for things to happen, wait for people to invite me for gigs, but it's not gonna come at your door. You're not gonna wake up in the middle of in the morning and then suddenly fucking Simon Cowell's outside your door and say, hey, I want to sign you as an artist. And that's not gonna happen. That's definitely not gonna happen. You need to essentially be like brave enough to put a step forward. And don't be afraid to ask. You know, I I think back then for me it was harder because there was not a lot of people I could ask. Like, and I also believe what you said, how you said that a lot of people don't want to give secrets because they're afraid that one day you might overtake them as competition. That's why they never reveal their secrets.
That's true.
It's not because they're selfish. It's because they're secretly afraid. Because what essentially we do as young folks and young creatives is what we take an idea from an olden time and remix it to make it better to fit us. Then some kid younger than us, when we're like 30, is gonna take that same idea that we did and remix it to make it something better. So essentially, I think now in this current day and age, a lot of people are open to help. So don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to tweet out your questions or ask around. Internet is your biggest ally. Find out how tips and tricks on how to produce or how to play music. A lot of things I learned was online and not from my friends. So honestly, yeah, just don't give up. Just learn. Don't ever stop learning.
Yeah, I think one thing I want to point out when he said about put out your work out there and hopefully you will get to where you want to be. A good example, it just recently happened. I believe you know Shah, right?
Shah Official, the rapper.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's a very good friend of mine.
yeah. We
Oh
actually
yes,
start,
I think I know. I know
yeah.
where you're getting with this.
We actually studied in the same uni and we graduated the same time. And I quite remember this scene in my head where when I saw her first performing in our uni stage or something, I was so fucking blown away of her singing voice. I just stopped what I was doing. I was just paying attention to her, and truthfully or not, we became friends afterwards and so on. And after postgraduate, she started releasing rap covers or her own covers. Like I don't know where she found the beats, but she will rap to the beats. And I remember saying this, even posting out in my story saying that, yo, this is a star in the making. And few years later, no, I think it's 1 year later, she got signed under Def Jam Asia, and she's the first freaking female rapper in Def Jam Asia, and that happened by she was just posting it out.
All of the content. And you can learn from this story as well. I'm trying to get Shah back into this podcast, but her manager is not replying my emails.
Another thing, actually, if you want to talk about recognition, I will tell a story that happened to me during the MCO as well. Just if it helps inspire.
Yeah.
I did a cover. I did a remix of Yuna's Dancer Banania, and I rapped on it. And it was me learning basic production.
Oh, okay, okay,
I think
okay.
you know
Yeah.
about that,
I
right?
know, I know,
Yeah.
I know,
So
I have. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So I posted it up. Didn't expect anything to happen. I think it was a week later. Suddenly, my phone was blowing up, and I was like, "What's going on?" And I opened my phone. Oh, you already posted it. I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And she followed me back, and she's like, "Yo, let's collaborate." And she DM'd me, and she commented on my story, and yeah, and we're actually in the works of trying to work something out to make that come to life. And now we're like relatively good friends. Even today, she reacted to my songs on her stream.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
such a
I
fun
just saw
person.
your Insta post like recently.
Yeah. So essentially, yeah, putting things out there. No one asked me to do it, but you have to do it because essentially, if you're not gonna do it, no one's gonna do it. So
Wow.
be the
Dude,
first
dude,
before someone else does it.
That's freaking amazing, man. I mean, see, guys.
Thank you, thank you.
This is what happens when you put up your work. Don't be afraid of other people's comment on you, or what's the word, like other people's opinion. Yeah. Other, don't be worried about other people's opinion. The only opinion that matters is yours and yours only. And yeah, this has been a very good podcast. I'm so sad that I can't even have you in front of me to have a proper podcast session, because I know for the fact when I'm editing this, it's going to be a lot of lagging and I need to do a lot of post production on this. I'm like, shit.
Understand. I mean, it's okay. I mean, when MC was over, hopefully, when coronavirus is like settled down and once vaccinated, who knows? Maybe we could meet up in real life and then we could do this in real life. I don't mind. I'm always down.
I'm always looking forward for that moment. But yeah, thanks for coming for the podcast, and it's been a great session. I learned a lot from you as well. Hopefully for people who listening this in Spotify and as well as watching this from a YouTube for our faces, hope you guys learned something from here. And thank you, Luqman. So Luqman, before you go, do you want to plug in anything? You want to feature anything?
Yeah, I think please support your local acts besides just me, but support all your local acts. You need it the most right now. If you hear a local song, share it, stream it, play it. It helps out a lot. And for my side, yeah, listen to my music. I've got a band called Block J. I've got another band called Distorted Material, and I make Malay pop music under Helloluqman as well. So either or is fine. Follow me everywhere. I think if you Google search, not to be cocky, but I think if you Google search Helloluqman, everything pops up. I think.
Nice.
I'll assume. Yeah.
Yep, but if you guys don't want to, Google search, don't worry. I'll put his music Spotify links in the description below, so go check it out. It's a good music, guys. And as always, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and always go out there, discover, connect, and inspire. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao.